In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to stay cool as a cucumber, how to turn from Clark Kent into Superman in 10 seconds flat. This is how to feel comfortable and relaxed on all your meets, all your bonding, all the time you're spending with beautiful women, starting from second one. The cucumber principle, it's not about confidence. You don't have to become super confident, super alpha, superman, all that stuff, and dramatic change and all that extra pressure. That's not what you have to do. All you have to do is feel comfortable. And so we want to create scenarios where you have that comfort, that level of comfort that makes it so much easier. This is Bond, Jonathan Bond. Here's some pictures of me demonstrating my life, kind of showing myself around the world. And look, do I look like super confident, super magical alpha male? No. I'm just someone who knows how to be in control of situations, how to stack the deck in my favor, how to manipulate the chessboard, and to situations where I always feel comfortable and I'm in control of as much of the situation as I can be. It's about maintaining control and keeping her from taking you outside of your comfort zone. And there's 3 key steps to this. The first step is your house. Don't go inside her house until you've known her for a while. You want every day to start and end with you in control. There are a million reasons why you don't want to go to her house, okay? I can't tell you the number of times I've gone home with a girl and her roommate has actively kept us from doing what was going to happen. If we'd been at my house, it wouldn't have been there. And there's a million things. The roommate can be sad because she just broke up. The roommate can be jealous. The roommate can be all these other things, like, hey, it was supposed to be our pizza night. What are you doing with the guy? Up to, it can just be the roommate just got fired and she's really sad and needs someone to comfort her. Or we come home right as the roommate is in the living room in her pajamas and it kind of breaks the moment. All these different things. Or maybe she has a cat and the cat throws up on the floor. Or all these different random things happen. And these have all happened on dates that I've been on where I go back to the girl's house and something happens that would never have happened at my house. And that's why you want to be in your house. When you're in someone else's house, it just feels awkward. You don't know where the toilet is. You don't know where your extra condoms are. You don't know where anything is. What are you going to do when you have to wake up early? All these different things, right? If you wear contacts, did you bring contact solution? Does she have contact solution? She does, but she doesn't have an extra case. You're going to put your contacts in a glass in her house. It's like all this extra crap. You want dates where you're in control and you feel comfortable, and you should feel very comfortable and powerful in your house. You should use your car and control transportation, and you can let her do all the drinking and the partying, first couple of dates, because a real man controls the transportation. That means you're taking responsibility for her safety, beginning from point A to point B. That's a serious responsibility. If you get wasted and drive like a dick, you could really hurt someone. And so by being responsible and saying, hey, part of being a man is driving. And also, that's what she's looking for, that type of man. That's why she's joined. So you should really be in environments where you're in control. Because I've been on dates. As soon as you let the girl drive, I can tell you right now, everything goes down the toilet. Every single time I've tested this, I've always regretted. As soon as the girl's driving, suddenly I'm out of control. I'm no longer the man. She starts to slowly emasculate me by deciding, she decides when we go home. She decides where we go. I don't want to go to the restaurant you picked. We're going to go here. All that stuff turns into a competition. Don't give up your leadership role, or you'll kind of break your frame. You'll kind of lose what you're going for, and you'll feel out of control, and you won't feel cool as a cucumber anymore. By doing these 2 little steps, using your house as the main venue, using your car, and then number 3, picking your venues. You should only go to bars, clubs, restaurants, and movies that you've already been to. Never take a woman somewhere new. Okay? Until you're deep into a relationship, until you're at least 90 days into her being your serious monogamous girlfriend, or you've been dating, once a week for 90 days. So it's at least 12 dates, okay? 12 encounters, 12 meets, 12 events. Don't get caught up. You do the classic mistake. You take a girl to a movie. If the movie sucks, guess what? She doesn't like you. If you tried a new club or a new bar that you heard would be really cool and trendy, and anything goes wrong, you are fucked. Don't do that to yourself. Do not let the environment fuck you. If you hear about a new bar that you want to try out with a girl on Friday, go there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday first. Get the feel for the vibe. I've done this so many times. I've taken a girl to a really cool bar. Turns out it was a gay bar. That's happened to me. I wish it only happened to me once. That's happened like 3 or 4 times. All these things that you would have found out if you'd just been there, got the lay of the land, would make such a difference. And they're really important. Now, it's not about controlling her, but controlling these other factors is going to give her a great experience and increase the odds of her enjoying the date. Instead of you taking her to like a bar that might be cool and it turns out the bar sucks, or a movie that sucks, you're going to definitely take her to places that are awesome. So let's dig a little deeper into how to feel like you're in control at your house. You want to create a welcoming, seductive environment. Your house should be as clean as a hotel. Okay? Everything we've talked about as pre-selection is demonstrating you're a man who's got it together. Every inch of your house should be flawless. You should clean it yourself or you hire a pro. I don't care, but there should be no cracks in the facade. There's so many deep reasons for this. Look, if your house is really clean, you're going to feel in control. For me, my house is my castle. It's where I feel in control of the world, and I want it clean. I want it everything in its place. And that's really the one place in the world where I feel total control. You know, in life these days, even if you work for a big company, they could just decide tomorrow, your boss can decide for dozens of reasons to downsize you. And all these kind of things. You know, you work for yourself, one bad accident, someone falls at the store you own and they sue you and suddenly you're out of business. These things can happen, right? Life is like, we're like ships in the ocean. So your home should be your rock. It should be where you're in total control. So that's kind of where your feeling of comfort should be, and that comes from having it really clean. And also, I'll tell you right now, okay, you can have a girl good to go. I'm talking level 10. Like, she brought condoms in her purse and she took her underwear off in the taxi on the way home. And if she sees a black ring in your toilet, here's what her exact thought process. His dick goes into this toilet when he please. There's no way I'm putting a dick that was in this dirty black shit into my vagina. And she will walk out. I know guys that's happened to, where the girl was good to go, went to use the bathroom. I don't know if you know this, but girls always go to the bathroom before sex. And that's one of the reasons. They're going to look in that toilet and check your medicine cabinet. So you need to be real pro. Do not fuck around with the toilet. And they'll check the bathtub too. Okay? As soon as you start to see that ring happening, you need to take action. I know people that kind of screw around and they're like, oh, I'll just take care of it right before my big date. And guess what? They only make it a little bit fainter. Girls know what's up. If there's any sign of that, that's like a guaranteed way to blow the deal, to blow your opportunity. So don't fuck around with your house. You want to make it more inviting, and women have no idea what champagne costs. You want to stock your fridge according to what you can afford. Look, you do not have to put in $1,000 bottle of champagne or even $100 bottle of champagne. I've never spent $100 at home on a bottle of champagne. It's not necessary. But you can give her a 4-star experience. And that's all she's looking for, is like a really pro experience. If you just put a little time and thought and effort into making your house woman friendly, you can make it feel to her like she's in a high quality tier 1 hotel without spending a ton of money. You don't have to buy, you know, the most expensive vodka, the most expensive champagne and caviar and all that stuff. You just have to make it nice. You can buy some crackers and brie for like $10, bottle of champagne or 2 if you're wild for 10 or $20, and you're golden. And suddenly she's having a date with a real man. She's out adventuring and bonding with a real man. That's all you have to do. You also want to have chick bait. You want to give her a reason to come back to your place at the end of the date. This is not really necessary with girls you meet off of these sites, which is why it's so awesome, but it really makes it easier. What you want to do is give her something she can say to her friends later on. What girls want to say to their friends is, we went back to his house to do X, and one thing led to another, and we slept together. And X can be anything, an aquarium, a dog. You can say, oh, I got to go back to my house to let my dog out, and then we can go out for ice cream afterwards. Anything as simple as that. My friends in London used to bring girls back to look at the dolphins outside their window. There's no dolphins in London, and they just had something like that. You can have a Nintendo Wii. Obviously, if you're older, that's not really a great fit. You can have anything you want to have. There's really cool things like a guitar is cool if you play guitar. If you have like an at-home planetarium, there's these really cool things you can buy that shoot like real stars into your ceiling. not like the ones you stick, but like something that's really cool and electronic. Anything, one cool thing that you can say, hey, come back to my house. Hey, come back to my house and watch these cool videos. I used to bring girls back to my place to watch breakdancing videos because I loved watching. I love watching really great, cool dancing. Something really simple, and that's all you need. It's just one cool thing or a couple of things that you can say, hey, come back to my house and see this. Instead of saying to a girl, hey, why don't you come back to my house to fuck? Okay, you don't have to say that. And girls want you to hide it behind something else. She knows what's going to happen. Hey, come back to my house to watch some videos on my laptop, some YouTube on my laptop. I got to show you this crazy video. It's so funny. She knows what's happening. You want to prepare for obstacles. Again, most girls are pretty on top of their game these days, but you want to be prepared. Assume success, okay, with everything you do with your house preparation. I can tell you, I know guys where a girl wanted to come back to his place, stunning girl, and he goes, oh, I didn't clean my apartment, so I didn't let her come back with me. And she never talked to him again. He lost the opportunity. He will never sleep with that girl. He blew it a great opportunity. Why? Because he didn't listen to me. I told him, I go, clean your place. You're gonna want it to be perfect. And then he didn't do it, and then he was too embarrassed to bring the girl home. You want to prepare for her to what she can say. Oh, I can't spend the night. I wear contacts, right? We talked about that if you're at her house. Easy. How much is contact lens solution in contacts case? Makeup remover. Maybe you have supplies for if she's a lady with lady problems, if you know what I mean. Things that are normal that have there, all these kind of supplies. So if she can go, oh, I can't spend the night because blank. How about this? Extra toothbrush? What does that cost? 50 cents? All these different things. You want to make your house women friendly. So remove your creepy porn, and this includes like Maxim magazines and cluttered collections. You can have a comic book collection. You can have action figure collections, but they need to look adult. Okay, they need to look like a collection that someone would have in like a museum. So if you have like a nice collection, and I know guys, okay, that have comic book collections and they show them to girls all the time. That's fine, but it has to be nice. It has to look like adult, not like a teenager's, okay? It has to be presented in a mature way, whatever you're into. And that's really what you want to do to remove the creepy things, and it'll really go a long ways. And you need to expect success. So all the things that you kind of would do if you 100% knew a hot woman was coming overnight and would sleep with you if the house was ready, that's your mindset, okay? And she's going to need a change of clothes or something to sleep in, and you're going to need condoms. You need to be prepared for that. I know guys that a girl came over and then they didn't have condoms and it was like awkward. That's unprofessional. That's, that's amateur hour. If you don't take care of these things and then a girl doesn't sleep with you, that's insulting to me. I've taken the time to teach you what you need to do to be ready. And these are all the things that a mature adult got together man would have set together. And you might already have all these things sorted. You might be on top of your game with all this stuff. And I'm just covering it so that there's no cracks in the training. But you need to act like you're expecting success and be good to go. These things will do a couple things. Number one, you'll be like, okay, my house is ready. That gives me such a feeling. When my house is ready for a woman to come over, I feel so comfortable. I just feel comfortable in my house. I'm like, okay, I've got the home court advantage. I've got the deck stacked as much as it can be. I've done everything I can to make this house as woman-friendly as possible. Everything's kind of designed in all the right ways. And that's really going to make you feel better. The next thing is about your car. Treat it like a Porsche or whatever your favorite car is. I know I usually talk about Ferraris, but treat it like a really high-end car. I recommend washing your car yourself, okay, instead of having someone else wash it. There's such a different feeling when you're the one who fucking washed the car, and it makes you feel like a sense of pride when it looks good compared to having someone else do it. I've had both experiences, Obviously, most of the time nowadays, I have someone else wash my car because I get busy or I slack off. But man, when I wash, and I live in an apartment building actually where you can't wash your own car. It's really one of the biggest things. When I lived in a house, I wash it myself. It's such a good feeling. Yeah, maybe it's an hour or two on a Saturday once a week or every 2 weeks, but it'll really kind of affect how you feel in your car and your confidence in your car, and you need to maintain it. Don't treat it like a trash can or a recycling bin. I know guys that, they've got like packs of cigarettes, empty beer cans, old food in the bottom of the car. The car smells. She will look at your car and say how he treats his car is how he's going to treat me. Girls really feel that way. And it's a really good sign. My experience is guys who treat their cars like crap treat their women like crap. Any guy I know, every single guy I know with an expensive car, I don't know anybody who treats a BMW and fills it with garbage. It's only people who have less expensive cars and they think, oh, my car's cheap, I'll treat it cheap. My car, I'll tell you right now, the car I drove for every single one of these dates I've talked about was a 2004 Mustang GT. I bought the car for $15,000 in 2010. Okay, so it's not top of the line. That's not a rich guy's car, is it? That's a bottom. That was the first car I ever bought without any help from anyone else, with all my own money, and I was really proud of it. So, and we're gonna talk about this in the respect section, right? But I treated that car like a fucking princess. I had the most expensive insurance I could get. I took super good care of it. Everything I could do, always washed, always maintained, because I had this sense of pride in my car, and it made me feel so comfortable. And you know, you should be proud of your car and never talk bad about it. It doesn't matter what your car is, okay? It's not the car, it's how you treat it. If you act like your car is a piece of shit, she will buy into that. That's her buying into your frame. And if you act like your car is awesome, then she'll buy into that. If a girl you're with makes a negative comment, you should be defensive about your car. You don't need to be defensive about yourself, but you should say, hey, this is my car, and it's special to me. Here's why. And, you know, I've had girls be like, hey, you make a lot more money now. You're so successful. Why do you drive this piece of shit car? Or why do you drive this cheap car? And I said, you know what? This is the first car I bought with my own money, and I'm really proud of that. And I love this car because this car represents me really making it in life and kind of breaking free from working for other people. I bought this car right when I left my last career behind, when I realized I'd never have another boss again. I actually bought this right before they fired me. So it's like, and it was that was the best thing that ever happened to me, when I left my teaching career behind to write books and really pursue my passion for helping people find love and amazing relationships and do amazing training courses like this one, you know? So that car represents a lot to me. And so if a girl says something bad, I'll say something. And that shows that you have standards, that you have barriers, that you know what's right and wrong. And that feeling that you have about your car, if you have pride in your car, you'll feel more comfortable in it. You should feel the same about your car as a knight would about his horse. You know, dependable. I rely on this car. This car gets me to work. This car provides me with happiness. This car is amazing. I'm proud of this car because I bought it with my own money. Or my parents helped me buy this car, but I paid half. Whatever it is, you should be proud of that. And that kind of feeling in your car will give you the comfort. So now you have comfort in your home, and then you have comfort in your car. And what's cool is your car can move. So now wherever you go, you feel comfortable. And when a girl comes into your car, she's in your world. When you bring a girl for your first meet, for your first bonding, guess what? She's in your world. So now home court advantage is moving with you. That's awesome. And when you get her back to your house, guess what? You're still in the home court advantage because you're so comfortable. This is how you stay cool as a cucumber. So let's talk about venues. Okay? You need to control the battlefield because warfare ain't about being fair. I never date fair. I have no interest in giving other guys a fair chance of stealing my girlfriend or anything like that. I do not go to new places with girls. I don't try new dishes with them. I stick to what I know works, okay? If I'm going to eat food with a girl, it's food I've eaten before, okay? There's nothing worse than having a shitty dinner in front of the girl and you can't eat it, or it makes you sick, or she's like, why didn't you finish your fish? Oh, it turns out I don't like fish. Or why did you order the calamari? I thought calamari was cheese sticks. I forgot it means octopus. That happened to me once in high school. These things can break a date, and it's just amateur hour. And it's this idea that you have to impress a girl by doing something new. You don't. Here's how you can become the badass at any bar in the world, okay? And I've done this in the coolest bars in the world. So this works anywhere. I've done this in honky tonks in Nashville, Tennessee, and super badass bars in London, okay? The whole end of the spectrum. Now, you only have to go to a bar 5 times to become a local. That's all it takes. You order the same drink every single time you go. This is the simplest formula. Order something specific. I used to do this with tequila sunrises. I used to always go to the same bar in London. I went to a bar, I'm talking cool. I took every girl I ever met and went out with and took out with me on any type of way. On the way back to my house, the last place we stopped was the same super cool bar in London. I always ordered tequila sunrise. Okay? I've never had any other drink this bar serves. I have no idea what else they have on the menu or anything else. I walked in and I went there 5 days in a row and I ordered the same drink, you know, and you have a tequila sunrise after work, boom. and always order from the same bartender. That's where you start. Okay, you start developing a relationship. And you can, if you go to like a bar at like 5 o'clock when it's empty or whatever, even like nightclubs, they open earlier, and you just chat to the bartender for 5 minutes. And you don't have to be interesting. You don't even have to do anything because their jobs are so boring when there's no one there. There's nothing more boring than standing in a bar and no one's talking to you and you're not making drinks. You're just there waiting for the night to start, right? So you come in, order a tequila sunrise and be like, this is my favorite drink, and just talk about tequila sunrises for 5 minutes, okay? You don't have to be cool to seem cool. You're just trying to become a local. And now the guy's going to go, oh, God, this is the guy that always talks about tequila sunrises, right? Even if you create a bad first impression, he remembers your drink. So now when you walk in with a girl 4 days later, he's seen you every day you come in and order tequila sunrise. He knows what you're going to order. And you can walk up and go, I'll have the usual, and the lady will have this. And she's going to go, holy shit, you have a usual? Nobody has the usuals anymore. I'm one of the few people that develops this. I actually do this now with White Russians instead of tequila sunrises to give you full openness, because I love that movie, The Big Lebowski, where he always drinks White Russians. Now, I have discovered if you walk into a bar and order a Caucasian, people never know you mean a White Russian. I've tried that so many times because that movie's hilarious. And even people that love the movie forget that line. So that's the thing. You just want to pick a drink that's a little bit special. It makes it easier. If you can't drink anything else other than like, I don't know, a specific beer, like you can only drink Bud Light or something, they're not really going to remember you, okay? Because you haven't done something memorable. So it's going to take more work, more conversation. But you could do the same thing. One of the things is tip everyone. It's real easy. You know how much it costs to make a bouncer like you? Is about $5. Tip them on a Tuesday. One of my friends, we used to go to this bar in London, and the bouncers were shits to us. Total dicks. Total dicks. One of the things I hate about England is that bouncers can't tell the difference between expensive shoes and shitty shoes. So unless you have, they really want you to show up in like shitty square black shoes that they consider dress shoes. I had a guy one time stomp on a pair of, Ferragamos, and he goes, "Are these steel-toed boots?" And I go, Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? These are like $300 shoes. And then, so like these people, that's one thing I'll tell you about England is that English people don't understand shoes when it comes to like bouncers and shit. They only think they're dress shoes if you look like an elf and you have like giant big toes at the front and all this weird stuff. That was one of my biggest struggles living in London. And if you live in England, you know what I'm talking about. Bouncers are so weird about shoes for men. But so we were like, these bouncers are dicks. We got to figure out a way to make them like us. So one day on a random night, we walked up and we tipped them and we said, you know what? And they thought we were joking at first, okay? And we said, you know what? You guys, we don't always get along, but you guys do let us in most of the time. And we just want to say we appreciate the work you do because you know what? If shit hits the fan or if someone starts being a dick in here and someone starts a fight, we're glad you're here keeping everyone safe. If you guys weren't doing a good job, the girls that we hit on, the girls that we want to talk to wouldn't be here because they wouldn't feel safe. Think about that, right? Nobody likes cops until someone's robbing their house. And it's the same for bouncers. So that's one of the things you can do. One of the other things I did, there was a bar I used to really love and when I lived in a smaller town in England, and I could never figure out how to become friends with the bouncer. I was like, I got to become friends with the bouncer, otherwise you can never get in. It's the only bar open after midnight. And so I found out a girl was his ex-girlfriend, and she told me the secret. And this is unbelievable, but it works. She goes, well, here's what you do. You want this guy to like you. She said, walk up with a sandwich from KFC in a bag and walk and pretend you were going to eat it, but you're full. And you just walk up and go, I'm full. I'm not going to eat this. I don't want to throw this away. Do you want this? And give him the sandwich like that. And you're in. And it worked. The guy loved me. So it's the littlest things to develop these relationships. You can talk to everyone who works in a bar. If you understand that people are bored and you just kind of come during the slow hours, you can become someone that they recognize and are familiar with. And also, once you start showing up with different beautiful women, they'll remember who you are. People remember beautiful women real easily. But this is the easy way to become a local. And you're doing a couple of things here. You're becoming comfortable in the venue so that it feels like you have the home court advantage. Like, you go to a bar you've only been to once or twice before. The bartenders don't notice you. You've never been there before. You don't know which drinks they're good at, which drinks are bad. Do they pour heavy? Do they pour soft? Where's the bathroom? All these things can become distracting. You get what happens if you order a drink and the drink is mixed bad, right? And that happens. You got to know which bartenders know what they're doing and which bartenders got hired because they're friends of friends or because they're good looking, right? So you know which bartenders to order from. If you can go, oh, you got to order from this guy. You order from the other bartender, you're going to get something bad. Like I learned with my tequila sunrises that most people don't know how to make it. And I definitely knew one girl who thought it was 50% lime juice. That hurt my mouth. That was like drinking pure lime acid. So these are little things, you know, with familiarity are attractive because she's going to go, wow, this guy really knows what's going on in here. His competence is so sexy. And all you did, right, was just go there a couple of times and figure out how things are going. That little bit of extra effort goes a long way. And that's all you got to do to become a local. You know, I am the guy who served me tequila sunrises for almost 2 years. I had never talked to him, not once. I just used to walk in and hold up one finger or two for how many drinks I wanted. That's it. That's the relationship we had, and it was great. I did see him outside the bar twice, and we waved. I never talked to the guy because I'd established what I considered the perfect relationship. But in other venues, I've done it where I just chat to the person for 5 minutes. Oh, what do you do? Oh, did you, you know, how long have you been a bartender? Did you always want to be a bartender? You know, what do you do when you're not working? Are you in school? Oh, that's cool. You're still in college. What are you studying? Oh, I remember when I went to college, man, having a part-time job is tough. You must be really hard working so hard and doing all that stuff. A little bit of sympathy, a little bit of empathy goes a long way. That's all you got to do. And eventually, you know, doing that kind of stuff, I know the owners of the bars I go to quite often, you know, or at least the managers, because everyone's like, oh, who's that guy? You're always talking to him. Like, oh, that's Jonathan. He's just comes in during the week sometimes. He's a really chill guy. And then you know the manager. And then, you know, when I go out now, I get free drinks all the time from managers. Why? Because I'm nice and because people remember me. The last thing is location. I never want to be out with a girl when we're more than 30 minutes from my bedroom. 20 minutes is the ideal. The bar I was just telling you about, the Tequila Sunrise Bar, was like a 7-minute walk from my apartment when I lived in London. It was really timed, and that's where we'd always go afterwards. Because once she kind of gets in the mood, and a lot of times when we're out with girls, this can happen, or once you kind of say, hey, why don't you come back to my house and see my dog? He's really going to love you. He's a really good judge of character. I can't see a girl more than one time unless my dog approves of her. Okay? And if you go, okay, my house is an hour away, she'll do it if you're like, hey, I live around the corner, or we don't even have to drive, we can walk there, it's 100 yards, right? She'll come. That's a really low barrier. The farther away you are, the harder it is to kind of talk her through that. So that's one of the reasons you want location. So pick places near where you live that are cool, and ideally pick places that you enjoy being in and you're comfortable, because when you're in control of your car, your home, and the venues, you know, staying in control of the date itself is 1,000 times easier. How many times have you been on a date when a dickhead waiter, I hate waiters. Waiters always do everything they can. I've had waiters try to hook up with my dates, try to mess with my dates, try to do everything possible. They'll see me going in for the kiss and they'll run over to ask if we want dessert. Let me tell you something, okay? That's a great way to make sure I don't tip you. I've heard of a guy where he was so distracted by the date, he messed up how much he wrote on the tip, and the waiter came and started a fight with him when he's trying to walk out to the car. And the guy, of course, unfortunately in this story, the guy had written the wrong number because he was so distracted by this girl and he just wanted to get home, and it was their first date and stuff. And the guy's like, the waiter comes up and is like, was the service bad, sir? Was there some reason you didn't give me a good tip? And the waiter was intentionally trying to embarrass him in front of his date. And it's like, hey, the guy just got distracted. I understand you should, tip if the guy does a good job. But I personally, in that situation, I would have said, you know what, the reason I didn't tip you is because I felt very uncomfortable with the way you were looking at my girlfriend. In fact, I want to talk to the manager. I'm on my first date with this girl, and I don't think when you're standing behind her, you should make sexual gestures. I would get the guy fired right away. And, that's the situation. Bad waiters shouldn't be allowed to ruin dates, but they do. Every time I've ever been on a date, this is why I hate dates, and this is why I hate dinner dates, and I hate when I'm seeing a girl, even a girl I'm bonding. I've had girls, when she'll be like, hey, I'm hungry, please let me go into this restaurant. This happens more in London because we walk by a restaurant, and she'll force me in. And every time that happened 2 times in a row, and both times I broke up with the girl after the restaurant because the date was ruined by bad waiters. I hate that. Bad waiters, annoying roommates, all these different external threats. I've had dates ruined by going to the wrong movie. I thought it was a good movie. It turned out to be way too violent, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It had all these weird scenes. That's happened to me before. So I've learned that if you kind of remove third-party elements, you can give your odds in your favor. Look, if a date goes bad, I want it to be my fault. If a meeting with a girl, if the first time I'm bonding with a girl, if it turns to shit, I would like it to at least be my fault. I don't want it to be because I went to a restaurant and let some waiter ruin it, you know? Like, I want it to be because I made a comment or I told the wrong joke or I didn't like her story or something like that, you know? Like, at least let it be something I have total control over. And that's what happens when you're in total control. It's just so easy, man. When I'm bonding, when I'm meeting a girl and we're in my house or we're in my car or in my favorite bar or my favorite restaurant or any of the places I've been to a couple times and I know everyone who works there and I walk in and the guy who works the door gives me a high five and I just feel comfortable. You know, it's so easy. Suddenly, you know, the parts of dating that sucks, this is how you remove all that stuff. You're just going places that you feel comfortable and you feel familiar. It's like, this is my home away from home. And boom. You bring her into that world, and you're going to be cool as a cucumber. And this is how you turn from Clark Kent to Superman in 10 seconds flat. You don't have to be super confident. You don't have to change who you are. You just want to be comfortable. You want to be relaxed. You want to remove all these things that can stress you out. And that's what it's all about when you're skipping the date and getting the girl.